All right, guys, it's August. Hi, it's Angelica Yingst from the Moon and Stone Healing, and welcome to your August Earth Medicine reading. So every month, I come on here and do a reading, a tarot reading, because I'm a tarot reader, and then I bring forth the Earth Medicine that you might be working with this month to kind of round out some of the work that we're doing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, even physically sometimes comes up. So I do these in the beginning of the month. If you're part of my subscription group, so I have these levels of subscriptions where you can get different kinds of readings and healings throughout the month. So I'll do a reading on the full moon, a reading on the new moon. I do a shamanic journey each month with an animal. And that animal is something that we talk about here in this August reading as like the big energy. And then I'll do, the different levels are like personal readings. So when I talk about my subscription groups, that's what that is. And you can always go to my website, themoonandstone.com/memberships, to read more about it if you're interested at all. But so let's just talk about like when the full moon is. The full moon this month is August 3rd. It's a full moon in Aquarius that's coming up in a few days. That full moon is going to be pretty intense emotionally. Even though Aquarius is an air sign, it also is a little far out. It has a complicated relationship with emotions because it's a water bearer. So one of the ways that it's going to sort of show up, and part of it is because Uranus is its ruler. So part of the reason it's going to show up is just like bringing up fears. So just noticing and paying attention to the fact that if you're feeling kind of anxiety or afraid of some aspect of your life, this could be this full moon aspect coming forth. So that's coming in, and then you have this Lionsgate kind of looming. So the Lionsgate portal opens on August 8th every year. So 8/8, we call it the Lionsgate. Sirius kind of opens a portal for ascension work and high vibration work. I always do like a crystal healing for my people during that time. And this year I'm not doing it because it's a crazy time to gather people in person. But that Lionsgate portal is really powerful for high vibrational work. So what does that mean? The combo of the two, this full moon and the Lionsgate, means it's kind of like those fears come in, and if you choose, and if you are mature, and if you can handle it, you can turn on the light. And that would be a really interesting visual for you to hold on to, okay? Because think of those fears as being that like pile of clothing in your corner of your room, and when it's dark, you think it's a monster, and then you turn on the light like, oh, that's just a funny way that I've put down my jacket that makes it look like a human being. And that's going to be a powerful part of the energy of this month, the difficult part. So when you kind of toss everything up, all the fears come up. Instead of trying to direct them to fall in certain ways, let them fall down and then make sense of them. So allow those fears and that turning up. There's a lot of like little frustrations and annoyances coming up too. So remembering that anger and fear are sometimes like two sides of the same coin. So we often feel pretty angry when we're vulnerable and afraid. So if you're starting to feel like annoyances, especially like I was talking to a friend who's like losing her cool sometimes with people who aren't wearing masks. This is such a great metaphor for this work, right? Where we get really angry, like, why aren't they following the rules? I'm following the rules. Why aren't they following the rules? Don't they know like they could be endangering all of our lives and blah, 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 blah. And my mom's sick, and we go on this whole story, right? What we're really afraid of is getting sick. But how it's coming out is self-righteous anger, righteous indignation, even like a little bit of condescension, right? And judgmentalism about why so-and-so isn't wearing a mask. So the powerful part of that is just that we have a choice, right? We get to be the one who has a choice. So this energy for August is going to be one of those months where we have to choose emotional sobriety. We have to choose emotional maturity. It isn't going to be handed to us on a silver platter. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to act like immature brats, and we get to make the decision whether or not we want to live that way or not. And I'm going to tell you this, it's not going to be an easy choice. You're like, punch that guy in the face, be mature and walk away. You know, it seems like a no-brainer when we're not activated, but when we are activated, that's a hard decision. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. We're going to also remember that that portal opens up, and so everything becomes a message in August. This is a month, and they're kind of like 1 or 2 months. November and August are great months for abundance and manifestation work. So if you're curious about that work, if you do spell work around manifestation, if you do grid work, if you're working with that energy of bringing forth, calling forth something, a lot of people think manifestation and abundance is all about money. It isn't. You can ask for abundance of love, an abundance of friendship, an abundance of whatever, stability, which would be a great one to ask for. August is a great time to do that work. And this month is no different. Like this year is no different. So call in what you want and start doing that work. New moon is in Leo and it's August 18th, which is awesome. Mercury is also entering Leo August 4th. Okay. So what does that mean? We know about Mercury retrograde, right? We talk about Mercury retrograde a lot because it affects our speech, right? How we're communicating, how things are functioning, like sort of, when it's retrograde, it kind of pulls back. Well, we're not in a retrograde. So when when Mercury is in Leo, we get to be super confident with our speech. We get to hold that Leo energy, and Leo energy, it's freaking awesome. It can be sometimes a little self-centered, but mostly it is dynamic, charismatic, confident. So just being aware that we get to call and use that energy. So the 4th is that's right in this full moon period. So this is why I'm saying that you can totally turn the light on right now and look at all those fears and all that activated stuff coming up. Okay, let's talk about July. July, we were working with the death card. And the death card is a hard one. Okay, so we were letting go of a lot of stuff. We were watching stuff die. Okay. And I don't want to bypass the actual experience of death. You are still in this. This is still here. Okay. This fell out of the deck at the same time I picked the other card. Okay, so we're still working with death, and all of the medicine that came up around is all about transforming and releasing. Okay, so we're now in the process of taking death and going into the next phase where we're shedding, we're actually letting go. Let's think of July as like we died, whatever it was. Maybe it was part of a relationship. Maybe it was a dynamic that you have with somebody. Maybe it's a habit. Maybe it's some other thing that you were ready to release. It's dead, okay? We had to mourn. We have to grieve. We have to be sad. Now we're kind of moving into a different aspect of the death card, okay? And that's asking for your emotional stability, maturity, and sobriety, okay? So let's talk about the card for August. So the card for August that came through is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is basically the knight in shining armor. All knights in the Rider-Waite Tarot are holding the courageous energy of that suit. Okay, so all knights are courageous and brave, and they move forward and they rush. They have like pure action energy and magic, and they move boom forward. Okay, they go into war, they go into battle, they're not afraid. The Knight of Cups is about moving forward with emotional bravery. What does that mean? It means being brave in the face of vulnerability, fears, anxiety. So it kind of ties in with what's going on at this full moon. But more so, it's asking you to be the bigger person. And this is not going to be easy. Okay. Because I can hear you now. I can hear myself saying, but I'm always the bigger person. I'm tired of being the bigger person. Why can't they be the bigger person? Because they can't, honey. Okay. This is the tough love time. All right. They can't be, if they could be better, they would be better. Okay. You're the one who was put on this earth to be the bigger person. We all were put on this earth to be the bigger person. That other people can't be is not your problem. Okay. That's their side of the street. It's messy, whatever. It's like, you got to let it go. All right. And so I love these rebel cards. I pull one every month. And this one says, it's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. Stop blaming others for your shit. And that one is harsh too. But the truth is, like, this is what emotional maturity is. Okay. It's like, okay, yeah, that person isn't wearing a mask. All right. They're not wearing a mask. I can decide not to go places where I know people aren't wearing masks, or I can just wear my own mask and know that and trust that I'm doing the right thing. Does somebody else not wearing a mask mean I should not wear a mask? No, that means I probably should, because I have to cover the asses of not only me, but those people who decide not to wear masks. So that's kind of what we're bringing forth, is this idea that we have to be emotionally mature. And we're shedding, remember, we put stuff to death in July. What do we put to death? We put a lot of our shadow stuff, a lot of that trauma. We brought stuff out into the light. That's some of that work, right? But it's also our childlike ways of being. We're taking away shame. We're taking away this whole dualism. And if we stop blaming ourselves and start practicing kindness and compassion for the self, we also have to practice it for other people. So you're being asked to really step into like a high level of acceptance and a high level of non-judgmentalism. Totally challenging. We're in a really polarized state right now. So being non-judgmental is not easy, okay? But you're being asked to do that because you can heal the self. You can't get out of the shame loop. You can't do those things without dealing with how you shame and judge other people too, okay? So it's not subjective. Like, it's not just you that doesn't need shame. It's nobody needs shame. Nobody gets shamed, guilted. We're not doing any of that anymore. So we're letting that go. And the mystical shaman card that came forward is the smoky mirror, meaning you're not actually supposed to be able to see it all right now and how it's all supposed to work out. We're doing the death thing, right? We're in the death grips. And that means kind of like everything's simmering down, but it's still smoky, okay? You can't quite see out of the haze that's around you. So I like to use fire for death images for myself when I'm doing shamanic journey and things like that, because fire is very transformative. The fire transmutes and changes elements from one aspect to another. So that work's being done. Okay. And of course, your guide for this month that came forward in many places is snake, which is interesting. I actually led a shamanic journey in February on snake, and it was really powerful. And snake has just been like weaving its way through the entire year. So we're going to be working, and I didn't quite pick snake. I picked the cosmic egg, which is funny because I have a rattle that has the egg with the snake around it. And these two images are just, this image is great. Okay, I'm just kind of clearing my energy now. Because the snake wraps itself around something that's ready to birth, which can be really powerful. Oops, my rattle dropped. Snake medicine is super powerful. It's powerful because you're shedding skin. And that's the transformation. And that's part of kind of like what we talked about with vulnerability. When the snake is, I am going to pause for 1 second. Okay, I heard my dog chewing something, so I had to go look. So the cosmic egg is like the rebirth kind of idea. So yeah, the cosmic egg here is really the snake, the transformative properties of snake. So we're kind of working with snake because then when I was picking stone medicine, obsidian came through with snake medicine and transformation. So I felt like that was so loud and clear. So snake works with the shedding of the skin. And again, like, not to be mistaken that when the skin comes off, we're vulnerable, okay? That's when that emotional maturity comes in. What does that mean when I say emotional sobriety, emotional maturity, things like that? What it means is that we know thyself, and it's easy. That's like a blow-off phrase we often say, right? Know yourself, or know thyself. What that really means is we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses. We're able to state, like, I actually feel vulnerable right now. And instead of getting angry, we say, I feel vulnerable, right? Instead of yelling at the guy with the mask, we say, I'm afraid that you're going to make me sick. And we own that portion of it. So we own who we are. We don't blame other people for our emotional state. And that's not the definition of emotional sobriety, but emotional sobriety is feeling mature in your emotional growth, okay? Not feeling like you're acting out of shadow, not acting like you're acting out of wounding. You're acting in integrity, in your own ethical belief system, right? Your code of ethics, whatever that is. So yes, one of the medicine coming through is obsidian. Obsidian isn't easy for everyone. Not a lot of people promote the use of obsidian, especially over the heart chakra. So just know, I'm going to warn you about that. If you have trouble with obsidian, you can use Apache tear. That's like a gentler form of obsidian that can be a really nice ally for grief and release. But obsidian is sort of like gets to the heart of the matter. And you can sometimes find these hand-knapped obsidian blades, obsidian arrowheads, and you can find them in blades too. These are great for directing energy, and especially for protection work, because when we're feeling vulnerable, we need that protection. We need to feel super protected. So using obsidian is going to be a great gift. You can use them in grids. You can put them in your bath. Obsidian's great for baths. You can carry it with you. Just be careful if you're feeling super intense and vulnerable. Back off the obsidian a little bit. It brings stuff to the surface. It's made out, let's think of it this way. It's made out of volcanic activity. So it holds a really fiery kind of energy as well, which is perfect for August energy. August is very solar, okay? We're working with a lot of like transformative energy, a lot of fire energy, a lot of sun energy. So all of that is kind of in play right now. So the obsidian's a great ally for that. And again, with this one, it's all about transformation in the snake. We're releasing, shedding skin. The other stone ally coming through very strongly is pyrite. Pyrite's a lovely gift of August. It has a lot of masculine energy. And it's funny, I was doing a shamanic journey with Sharon Muzio of Alta View Wellness Center last night, where I work, and she was talking about how August feels very masculine. So it's funny that Pyrite came forward as an ally today, because Pyrite holds that sort of, first of all, abundance energy. It's very protective as well. It's ferromagnetic. It's strong. It's grounded. It's heavy. If you've ever held, it has that cubic sacred geometry. So its crystal system is cubic, which gives it a stability that it can be very, very helpful in this month. So you're using it to set intentions. You're using it to hold space for yourself. So you've got a lot of good stuff going on. So we've got obsidian, we've got pyrite, and then the last stone that came through is Herkimer diamond. And this came through as kind of this blessing of unconditional love. I used these crystal medicine cards. And so the Herkimer diamond here is associated with Mother Mary, and unconditional love. Herkimer also are old, and they're water clear. So Herkimers are great for channeling information. They're double terminated, so they move energy really well. They're great for clarity and meditation. And they're just, they've got just this very high vibrational, clear energy. And I just love working with them. So the three stone medicines that you're working with: Herkimer diamond, obsidian, and pyrite. And then for plant medicine, white sage came through to purify. Okay. So this is like something we tend to think of sage as being these big bundles, and these are wonderful. But you know, in respect for Native peoples of the Americas who use sage for clearing and for ceremony, we're kind of asked not to use it as much. We're asked to use what's closest to us. But sage is very purifying. It is a wonderful ally. It makes you a clean slate for whatever energy you want to put in. But you don't need this, okay? You only need one little leaf to smudge. So let's stop doing these big consumption ideas. Look at how much smoke is produced by one little leaf of sage. Your sage, all the sage you have right now, can last you for years. So don't feel like you have to keep buying more sage bundles, okay? Use what you have and use it and be a good steward of the earth. One little piece of sage can clear a whole room, a whole house. You don't need a big old bundle like that. So, you know, consider how you're using sage too. But you're asked to purify your intention, purify your home, purify your spaces, purify yourself. And we're doing that physically, right? Washing our hands a lot, clearing our energy a lot, doing all that stuff. But you're asked to do it, you know, with sage as your plant ally and bringing it forth. So clearing your energy. Again, emotional sobriety is so important. And being emotionally present, mindful, and being aware, you know, emotionally aware of who you are, where you are, and how you are in the world is going to be a real important gift of August. So this month, for your subscription, if you're a subscription member, I'm going to be doing our guided meditation with snake, which I'm excited about. I just did that recently, but this is going to be a different kind of journey. So if you did that one in February, this is just another version of that. We're probably going to work with the egg and the snake, since that was so loud and clear coming through, to kind of bring both forward. And your new moon readings will be, or your full moon readings will be available on the 3rd if you're a subscription member, and your new moon membership readings will be available on the 18th. So I will come at you in September, and I am planning more for my YouTube page. So if you have things that you're really interested in learning about, I am happy to share those things. Just pop into a comment, send me an email at Angie@themoonandstone.com about what it is you want to learn about so I can do some little mini lessons on that. I'm also teaching a tarot class that starts on Sunday. Um, so if you're interested in learning with me, studying with me, I'm also thinking about doing my psychic development class in Circle online virtually, which would be a once a month meeting, or maybe once a week. I don't know. Maybe I'll do an accelerated one once a week. So just let me know what you're thinking, what you're wanting, and I'm happy to deliver. All right. Happy August. Bye.